Not too far away from Marion is a land known as Forest City. So let's hit up 221. Let's go inside Forest City. Going to visit our friend Todd just for a second because he is selling a large Miller vintage clock light. Now, not just a large one, but he's also selling a smaller one as well. I want to text him after 3 p.m. for pictures. The large one is $200. Everything does work, and everything works in the smaller one as well. $100 there. Now, the third listing is still in box. It is a vintage Dale Earnhardt train set for $125. So give Todd a text or call inside Forest City at the number 704-884-5283. Now, again, that's 704-884-5283. $200 for the large Miller clock light, $100 for the smaller Miller clock light. Again, all works, all lights up, both vintage there. $125 still in box, the vintage Dale Earnhardt train set. Give them a call, 704-884-5283. While we still got some time left, let's take a look at this in search of, I guess, service. I'd say it's a 2-in-1. It's a Fusion, right? Not a Ford Fusion, but this listing. All right, take a look. In search of old scrap metal. Now, what I mean is if you are looking for someone to get rid of your old lawnmowers, some tillers, some batteries that may be taking up some space on your lawn, well, they can help you out. They're going to take these for free for you, so certainly do not want to worry about that. Like I mentioned, you got some yard ornaments you're trying to get rid of? Give them a call. They'll do it for free for you, and certainly will travel for it as well. 980-635-4379. Now, again, that's 980-635-4379. In search of any sort of old scrap metal to help you get rid of it. Again, he'll travel and do it for free for you. 980-635-4379. While we still got some time left, we're going to take a look back inside Stony Point to wrap things up, as we are in need of a babysitter. Saturdays, 9 until 4, weekdays, 4 until 6. Now, again, that's Saturdays, 9 until 4, weekdays, 4 until 6 inside Stony Point. So give them a call, 704-902-1982. Again, that's 704-902-1982. Thank you so very much for tuning on in inside the Carolina Swap Shop. Your listenership, again, makes us what we are today, and me saying thank you just isn't enough there. Again, you can always catch me weekdays 10 until 11 at the toll-free number. That is 888-331-0269. 888-331-0269. NCSwapShop at yahoo.com for all the additional details. This has been another installment of the Carolina Swap Shop. Thank you all so very much for tuning on in. Me saying thank you just isn't enough. Join me next time for the Bargain Deal Savings.
Bigfoot Country is WBRM AM 1250, FM 103.9, W280 FB Marion, Signal Hill Media Partner Stations.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Determined to halt the flow of sanctioned oil from Venezuela, the U.S. Coast Guard is pursuing another tanker that's said to be trying to skirt sanctions on Venezuelan crude. It's unfolding now in international waters in the Caribbean. There is speculation that Ukraine could be behind the assassination of a Russian general. He was killed when a bomb planted beneath his car in southern Moscow went off. It's the third killing of a senior Russian military officer in just over a year. And Ukraine is rapidly deploying low-cost interceptor drones, countering Russia's escalating aerial attacks on cities and power infrastructure.
Real Country is 550 AM WAME, 92.9 W225BD, Statesville.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Citing unspecified national security concerns, the Trump administration is pausing 5 offshore wind projects on the East Coast. The risks were identified by the Pentagon. The U.S. may be on the verge of seizing a third oil tanker in international waters in the Caribbean. The Coast Guard currently pursuing the tanker loaded with sanctioned Venezuelan crude. A car bomb has claimed the life of a Russian general in Moscow. Speculation it was Ukrainian intelligence involved. The third assassination of a senior Russian military officer in just over a year. Israel's finance minister says the cabinet has approved 19 new Jewish settlements in the West Bank. The decision part of a broader push by the government to expand settlements. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 106 points. NASDAQ ahead 95. More details, srnnews.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-454-4558. That's 800-454-4558. 800-454-4558.
A paid advertisement and does not necessarily represent views, opinions, or endorsements of Signal Hill Media Partners, its affiliate stations, or its advertisers. Welcome to Taking Care of NC, the program dedicated to exploring the issues, opportunities, and challenges shaping the great state of North Carolina. Join your host, Representative Jeff McNeely, as he delves into meaningful discussions about politics, community initiatives, and the people working to make a difference. Whether it's tackling local concerns, highlighting state achievements, or addressing pressing legislative matters, this show is your go-to source for understanding how North Carolina is growing and thriving. Stay tuned as we kick off another insightful episode of Taking Care of NC.
Good morning, North Carolina. I hope everybody's doing well out there. We got a good show today. We're creeping towards Christmas. It's really, really close. Nice day. Had a different morning this morning. My daughter, who's 27, but will always be my daughter, called me with car problems. So Daddy had to jump in and put his cape on and go down and save her. She's living in Charlotte, commuting up to Mooresville. I told her to go find a place to break down with less traffic, but that ain't always gonna happen. So we're doing the best we can, but we've got her back mobile again, so she's doing all right. You see anything on Larry yet? Has he called? There we go. Timing's everything in this business. That's right. All right, we got a good friend of mine, Representative Larry Potts from over in Lexington. I think Larry, I don't know how he'd be on the radio today. He has a face for radio, but I think he's one of the more comical people that I work with, but yet a great legislator. Larry, are you there?
I'm here, and I'm waiting on my retainer before I have anything to say. First you insult me, and then you have me on with no pay. This is a low budget operation. I can see that already.
The check is in the mail.
Yeah, I used to work for a loan company. I've heard that before.
As I said,
right before I picked up their car and towed it away.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. All right, and this is what we're in for today, folks. So get ready. We're gonna have a good time. I love Larry Potts. He's a good man. Hey, tell my people we cover from close to you, about Mocksville over in that way, Davie County, all the way to the Tennessee line. Tell our people, who is Larry Potts, and as far as representative, county commissioner, tell us all about yourself so people know.
Well, I've been a builder since 1978. I served 21 years on the Davidson County Board of Commissioners. I was chairman or vice chairman 15. Of course, I've been in Raleigh. I'm in my 5th term there. But politics is not a profession. It's just something you do to be involved in your community. As you are well aware, there may be money in Washington politics, but there's not any in North Carolina politics. I'll trade my annual salary for what the senators in Washington pay taxes on theirs.
Right, there you go. I got you, brother. I know it. Like I said, a lot of charity work. We should get to write more often. We do. But anyway.
13.9, I thought it was missing a figure on it when I first run, but I found out it wasn't.
Well, I get you. You know, the bad thing was, and probably like me, you're probably making about that same money being a county commissioner and you sleep in the same bed with your wife every night.
Actually, it paid back then 9 years ago, 18.9, and I was home every night.
Dang, y'all did better. We were like 13.5, so I got a $400 raise, but had to leave and go off somewhere or another. Yeah, so there you go. So
yeah,
you took a pay cut. You are a servant of the people, I swear.
Well, that depends on who you talk to, I suppose.
All right, the reason I got Larry on here this morning, besides wanting to always have him on my show and talk to him, and he's been reluctant for some reason or another. I don't know. I don't think he trusts me all the way, but he's going to have to today, whether he likes it or not. Larry's one of the...
I've got a red button here to end call.
Well, just wait a second before you hit that now. Just wait a second. All right, so Larry's one of our chairs on the health committee and has been deeply involved in this Medicaid issue that really wasn't an issue till our governor decided to stick his nose in it and ended up it come back getting kind of punched and a little bloody from it. So let's talk a little bit about Medicaid and where we've come just since I've been there since 19. I'm going on my fourth run, I guess it is, third or fourth. I got to go back and count it up. But, you know, we expanded Medicaid, and I don't think none of us were really tickled about that. How did you feel about the expansion when we did that? And that was back in, 21 or 22?
Yeah, it came with money to... I guess it's like the Christmas package. You don't know what's in the box till you take the wrapper off of it. A lot of the people that were covered were working people with two kids, you know, who couldn't afford insurance on their family when they got sick. The hospitals were already treating the people. They can't turn you away. They've got to treat the obvious ailment there. So it came with $1.5 billion check with it. So, and in our legislation, as you know, we put if the federal dollars ever dry up, they won't be supplanted by the state dollars. It'll just go away. I don't know how that works in practice, but in theory, it seemed like a good thing to do. We got a higher reimbursement rate, and we were able to help families have insurance.
Yeah, and you know, we were one of the last states to really expand, and because of that, the time we did it, Biden administration was in, and we kind of got docked a little bit because I guess we didn't move fast enough. You know, everybody else was getting 80% reimbursement, I think it was,
yeah.
And we only got like 66, I think it was.
So that's on the old.
On the old. So the new we got 80.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seemed like it was 87. Yeah. I think it was 8.
Learn something.
We've had so many numbers floating around since the big beautiful bill come out. That big beautiful bill. It depends on who's looking at it as to how beautiful it is. Your county and my county and all other 98 of them are going to have some cost associated with this bill.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're going to have to pick up. We're either going to have to trim some programs or trim the amount of people that are on the programs or come up with more money. That's the one. They've kind of put some of it back on the states, and then, of course, the states, we love to put it back on the counties and so forth and so on, till somebody else goes outside and kicks the dog. Last person.
Well, we're all politics is local in the application.
That's right.
You know, we pass laws. Your county and my county and Davie and Forsyth all are running probably 25 or 30% vacancy rate in the SNAP program and the Medicaid program. Some of our DHHS vacancy specialties are running 31% vacancy. And we can't hire people, and that we could. Most of the counties, including mine and yours, couldn't get all the recertifications done once a year. This is not a population generally that you call and they run up there with the paperwork you need to get it filed. And now, because of the big, beautiful bill, we're going to have to do recertifications twice a year. And that mandate came with no money for the state and no money for the counties. So, and of course, the counties have already passed their budget. We wish we had, but we haven't.
Yeah.
And you can't just go dumping stuff on county that they didn't budget for.
Well, that's true, and that's what you're seeing right now. You know, what's the old saying on the farm? Hot water's on the left, and you know what runs downhill. So that's kind of what's happening. The you know what is running downhill, and so there you go. Everybody's feeling a little pain from it for sure. Nick, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, this whole thing brought about an audit over at DHHS. And have you seen that? You seen what Dave Bolick did over there and the money he found? Well, so what's, you know, you being a health chair and you're having to work with DHHS, and I know that ain't the most pleasant job in the world. We all do some things down there that we don't think is great, but somebody has to do it, and we need qualified people, and you fit that bill, Larry. What's your take on $380-some million sitting over there? And their lap salaries and unhired people and all that, and not really saying nothing to nobody. Y'all didn't have a clue that was sitting over there, did you? I don't think nobody did until Dave
not that amount that the treasurer the auditor found. We allow them to take lap salaries and try to backfill these slots so that a few people don't have to carry all the burden of it. In our initial budget process, as you know, the area chairs give it to the full chairs and they appropriate it. We use the figures that our physical staff gave us to come up with a rebased annual cost of what Medicaid is going to cost, and that put us at we were like $100 million off, and we came up with that money, and then the health benefits said that's not enough to do it. You're $271 million short. Now, that seems like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. And our portion of DHHS runs only second to education.
Yeah,
I think we have about $7.3 billion in state money and roughly $14 billion. And it depends on who you talk to, in federal money to operate the system. And if you ever saw secondhand lines where they had a big luxury liner in a pond, that's what it's like trying to turn DHS around. You back up and pull up till your bumper hits, and then you back up till your rear hits, and then you pull up again. And I guess there's people who are experts on it. I am not one. I'm a building contractor.
Well, you know, we lean on Donnie Lambeth a lot because Donnie's been in that world. He was CEO. Was it at Forsyth or Baptist? I can't remember which one it was. Big hospital.
Baptist before they were gobbled up.
Yeah, so big hospital, and he knows all the acronyms, and I know you do too. You're like me. If you didn't know them, you had to learn them. You know, when you get thrown into these situations. But I was just astonished that all that money was sitting over there at DHHS, but I shouldn't be. Because I needed some money over here for Davis Hospital. Our Memorial purchased it and made it. It's a mental hospital, and Lord knows we don't have enough of that. And so,
we don't.
And I had Donnie help me dig around, and he went over to DHHS and found like there's $30 million from our 23-24 budget laying over there for psychiatric hospitals. And they're not saying a word about it. It's just sitting there, and I don't know what their plan was. So I had it in the budget, and we were going to be able to get some of that money and reuse it, and for this, and then everything like I said stalled. So that broke my heart because I'm like, this money's already been appropriated. Just let me have it. Let me use it. It's not even in our budget now. It's in an old budget, but nothing moved. Everything just comes to a standstill.
If there's not there's not reversion in it, where it reverts back to the general fund or to the Medicaid reserve fund or wherever, then it's like looking for a tool that you can use out there somewhere, but you forgot where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And after a period of time, 4 years, we forget we're a citizen legislature. I'm assuming we probably have experts in various fields in the legislature, some doctors and people, but for the most of us, this is not what we do for a living.
Right. Well, go ahead.
An expert's kind of like I heard a preacher tell me one time. He took a new job at a church, and first board meeting, he had a guy that they told him, could be difficult to deal with. And so he said, I'd like the board's permission to put a chandelier in the narthex. And this old gentleman raised his hand and said, well, I'm against it for 3 reasons. First, we can't afford it. Second, we don't have anybody who can play one. and what we need some light when you come in the front door. It's so dark you can hardly see.
There you go. And that right there, folks, pretty much describes what we get done at the legislature trying to figure these things out. So, and sometimes I think the departments mucky with us and throw these acronyms at us, knowing that we don't have an idea exactly what the acronym is, to try to circumvent us or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I tend to say, whoa, what does that mean? And I told him when I went in, I became one of the chairs on transportation. I told the people in my department, I said, I want a list of every acronym we're going to use in any part of transportation, because my God, they'd have 7 and 8 letter acronyms in transportation. It was ridiculous.
My legislative assistant, who's probably listening, Caroline Craig, made a gallon jug and put the acronyms on it. And every time you used an acronym before you said what it actually meant, you had to put $1 in the jug.
Dang.
And I sent my granddaughter to college for 4 years.
All right, so I knew you was going to get me laughing. I couldn't do this show, dadgummit. But anyway,
who's your backup? I hear you're in the room.
Yeah, we are. I got Bill Blevins here, Billy Buck, with me.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Billy owns the station and does the morning show too, and he runs the board for me. I ain't smart enough to do it all.
And I cut the grass.
Yeah, that's right. He cuts the grass and paints when it needs it. So there you go. That's how it is around here. This is big time radio. Just know that. So anyway, all right. Well, let's get back on track a little bit. We talked about there's a lot of money laying over there at DHHS, which they didn't say a word about in the whole time that they said we shorted them. So then along comes our beloved governor, Josh Stein, and sends out a letter the 1st of October telling all the different practices and doctors and everything that we're not going to be able to fully fund normally how we reimburse Medicaid to you when you perform services for us, because we don't have any money. Now, that's when y'all started raising Cain over there as the health. Donald White, you, let's see, who is it? Let's see, the Tim Reader
and Donnie Lamb.
And Donnie Lamb, y'all started raising Cain. And so this was all just a manufactured bunch of what. Tell us a little bit about what you saw from your angle when you first saw this come out, because I know you were livid.
I talked several times with the secretary, and he's responsive. He returns my calls and calls me to keep me in the loop. And I thought that we had an agreement worked out on Friday when he called me that the cuts weren't going to take place. I wanted to find out that on the 1st that they announced that they were, which of course put the Medicaid provider in disarray. They already don't get paid 100% of what commercial insurance pays them. And you got people with intellectual development disabilities, people on, plus we were going through the federal budget where the SNAP, food stamp, the old food stamp program was up in flux. And they didn't have an algorithm or anything where everybody got 3% or 9%. Some people were hit harder than others. People, small budgets who work with traumatic brain injury on our veterans and other people, they were going to have to just quit providing service because it wasn't paying enough to do it. And there was no reason for it. 2 budgets ago, I believe, we didn't have a budget on June the 30th until sometimes in October. And we passed the money and fully funded the Medicaid rebased operational budget for the next year. And I guess when enough doctors contacted us, and I was probably getting 50 emails a day that required a response.
Yeah.
When they sued and the judges ruled in their favor, I guess the governor decided that it wasn't his best decision that he made to date so far.
Well, he's been pretty slick and pretty wily, but this time I think he stepped in it and couldn't get his galosha back out of it. It stuck, you know.
Yeah, y'all used to have a bunch of dairy farms in Iredell County, and besides milk, they produce a lot of other stuff out there.
Yep. And you know what? I can identify that faster than most people, you know, especially when it comes from the male species. When somebody feeds me a lot of that, what is it? Male bovine excrete, I think, is a political term for it. So yeah, there you go. So anyway, and that's what Josh Stein did. He decided, oh well, I'll get in here and try to bloody up and beat up the legislature since they can't get their budget. But you know, it's like I told people, we never have. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm about sure of this. We never have gave them all of the money at one time when we've done a budget. We've usually funded it quarterly, even though the whole provision's in the budget. Isn't that how we do it?
Well, we have a figure that we work with, but you never know. You don't know where you are on July 1st because it's the first day of the new year. You don't know how many services that you have.
Yeah.
Whether our local LME MCOs, how much service they're going to be providing. You kind of work it as you go along, and we all know that there's a technical corrections and a budget correction bill in the short session every year. This was just his chance to say over our disagreement, the House and the Senate, look, the legislature won't pass a budget, even though we passed a great budget with teacher pay, master's pay, longevity pay, retirement pay for the our retirees.
And COLA.
Of course, our brothers across the River Jordan with the water fountain in the middle haven't seemed to come to our side of the table yet. And you're well briefed in politics. There's going to have to be a lot of compromise before anything gets done.
Well, and you know, we talk about that a lot, and we talked a little bit the other day on the conference call, and I truly believe, not to get off of the Medicaid issue, we'll jump back there in a second, but I truly believe we do what I always called was a hardline based budget, where there's a number, and we do this every year. We every budget we come up with a spend number, so that spend number's there. And we know it, and whatever we collect over that hard line spend number that we've projected to build the budget around, the rest of that money goes back to the citizens of North Carolina that paid taxes in. And I would rather do that, and that way I don't paint myself into a corner, than to go ahead and keep cutting the taxes down to zero without wanting to really raise the sales tax and put ourselves in jeopardy of not being able to move this state forward and fund it, because the state budget keeps the economy rolling. It really does. And we can put ourselves into a little mini recession that was only in North Carolina by monkeying too much and getting ourselves out of kilter with the state budget and not being able to fund and do the things that we have to do as government, keep the lights on. We need to keep the lights on no longer than we have to, but they do have to turn on.
Well, we both know that hurricanes hit the mountains as well as the beach, and we came up with $1.5 billion. If you don't have revenues coming in, you can't tell the people whose house just washed down the creek that we don't have any help for you.
I know.
We don't have the money. We gave it to you in tax in taxes, you should be able to find it in your savings account or your checkbook. You can't tell when the water's still flowing and we're rescuing people and they've got to eat and everything they own just went down the creek or their house flooded down east. You've got to have money to respond to emergencies because they're going to happen.
Yeah, it ain't a matter of if; it's a matter of when. You're exactly right, and that's where it's going to drive us into a deficit if we keep following the same path that the Senate wants us to follow. We can't do it. We just can't do it.
Well, we're one of the top 2 states in the nation to work for business to relocate.
Mm-hmm.
Our county's doing great.
Yep.
The state's doing great. We just got that company in Greensboro. We got Toyota operational. I was watching a program on Toyota. They have medical staff on there 24 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
They have their own daycare that the parents can leave. They have to pay, but since this place has to run 24 hours a day, you can't just shut a shift down. They've got cafeterias over there.
Yeah. City.
We're the number 1 place to locate business, and that didn't happen by accident.
Yeah. Well, here's the real question I got for Larry Potts. Now that we put the $600 million over there, and that should run them till we get back in April, and they found 380 some million that they're sitting on. Do we really need to give DHHS any more money during this budget cycle, we'll call it, or this fiscal year, or make them spend their own money? What do you think on that?
Well, you can only spend within the category that you are. I can't take mental health money from where you are and move it over to the food stamp program or something else. We have budget line items, but I would think that the senior budget writers, and they've been working on this, but we seem to be bogged down a little with our Senate counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be looking to reappropriate that, to maybe put it in the Medicaid Reserve Fund and then allocate it towards the new rebase figure that we need to base the operation on. We're already, four full months into the new year yet.
Yeah.
And we'll probably, after the end of this quarter, have some idea how much money is really needed. But we've never not funded it.
No, I know. And they know that. And they know we wouldn't. I mean, and we may play it down to the last minute because of the politics going on between us and the Senate, but it's going to happen. We're going to take care of business. That's what we do, and we're going to. Now, is some people going to fret about it? Well, maybe so. Is some people going to use it politically against us? Darn right they are. But we're going to get it done. Whether it comes right now or whether it comes in April, it's going to happen one way or another. But they can't tell me, and you, both of us and all of us, that they don't have any money to do the program, because we know they do. And so this whole thing, like I said, it was a manufactured crisis that's typical of what I see in Democrats and Rahm Emanuel, what never let a crisis go wasted, go unused. That's kind of what they did here. Well, Larry, guess what? This is a quick 25 minutes. We're out of time. Brother, I appreciate you. I hope you and your family have a blessed Christmas.
Thank you. You have my address for the check, don't you?
I do. I got it. I'm telling you, Sarah, but you know the post office right now is swamped with all those daggone cards.
I'm not expecting to get it before Christmas.
Yeah, it'll probably be after the first of the year, so you won't have to pay taxes in this tax thing. I don't want to throw you into a wrong tax bracket.
I appreciate you thinking about me like that. Thank you. Y'all have a nice Christmas up there. I'll tell my family, because we don't have any money for presents, that the check's in the mail.
You do. Just write them an IOU card and sign it, Jeff McNeely. All right, brother. Love you. Good talking with you. Take care, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Representative Larry Potts. It's always a fun time. Always a time. All right, folks, stay tuned for the second half of the show. We got a lot to talk about.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
We all want more of a North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 Outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, for others not so much.
That's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Bravo, Brenda. You've always been a saver. It's matching your price matches. The self-proclaimed queen of extreme couponing. But this time, you truly outdone yourself. By saving for this electric vehicle, you're locking in up to $1,000 a year in fuel and maintenance savings, which will leave you saying, cha-ching, every time you unplug. Good for your wallet, great for the planet. That's the power of EV. Sponsored by the ANC Clean Energy Technology Center and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
All right, folks, back here with the second half of the show. I hope y'all enjoyed Larry Potts. He's a lot of fun. He's a good guy, smart guy, too. And don't mess around. You know exactly what he's thinking. He'll tell you real quick. If you want to talk about him, Medicaid, anything, whatever you got on your mind here, 704-873-9929. 704-873-9929. Give us a holler. We'd love to hear from you, see what you got on your mind here as we approach Christmas. All right, folks, just a real quick note here for you. The lottery's up to $1.6 billion. It's a waste of your time. Do not go spend your money. Do not do this because you're going to mess up my odds of winning. So just quit it right now. Maybe that sounds like gambling. Don't worry, I'm going to buy something for the church, a gym or something. I don't big if I can get $1.6 billion. It finally got up to some money I'll play for. I don't like that $700-800 million.
It's just nothing to it.
I ain't gonna play for little money. We're gonna play for big money. Let's play. So anyway, well, on a tragic note and side note, we're gonna get off a little comedy here and talk. This happened after my show last week. Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, daughter Emma, son Ryder, Dennis Dutton and Jack Dutton, and Craig Wadsworth. All those people perished sadly out there at the Statesville Airport in a plane crash last week. And this really tough. Plane looked like it went all the way up and kind of circled over Catawba and was causing up. And it was that people reported it was losing altitude, gaining altitude. It was all over the place. Come in and went right over low over the green at Lakewood on 18. Some of the guys said they actually kind of ducked. It was so low. Clipped the trees there as you go past a clubhouse heading back to the airport. Hit the road, bounced, went back up, and then crashed beside the runway. I'm sure, horrifying. I hope they went quickly, some way or another. That was a horrible way to go. And so sad, so sad. I didn't really know Greg Biffle. I did get to meet him, shake his hand during all the Helene rescue efforts. I don't know how many hours and how much of his money he spent flying that helicopter up and back and forth and all over, and I got to shake his hand, and I could just tell that he was enjoying it as much as you could enjoy a disaster because he was helping, and you could tell he had a servant's heart, and so just a real tragic, tough loss for the community here in Iredell, and they will be missed, all of them, and just Godspeed, Greg Biffle and family and friends that perished, and so sad and so tragic. We don't know what our last day is, so make sure you tell whoever you love them, hug them, do whatever, because the Lord don't promise that there. He doesn't give you a certain time. So it's tough. It's really tough. It's really tough. So anyway, all right, we're going to jump down to the next one here a little bit. Like I said, anybody want to call in 704-873-9929? Please do. So the Lumbee Indian tribe got recognized as a sovereign Indian nation last week. There's about 60,000 Lumbee in North Carolina, and I'm trying to get John Lowry. John's now a representative with me in the House. His brother Jared was a representative for that area, and he actually got a job in Indian Affairs in Washington, D.C. in the Trump administration, and so he stepped down, and his brother was nominated, and so he's in there, and John, being the head of the Lumbee tribe, I guess you call the chief, or chairman, whichever you want to look at it, worked really hard, and so did Jared and many other out there, that friends of mine that I've got to know being in the legislature, great people, hardworking people, just want what they want, and we're going to get into it. I hope we have them on next week, next Monday, but you would not believe some of the stuff that's happened and how they have been blocked in so many ways. I mean, talk about crazy and conspiracy. It's been on, and it hasn't been Caucasians, it's been other Indians. Oh, yeah. Bad, folks. I'm telling you, bad. I don't want to get into it a lot because it'll ruin the show for next week, but it is something crazy. And know this, the only one of the North Carolina delegation in the House that did not vote for it, Valerie Forshee from over there in Hillsborough, was a no vote. And I'm thinking she's just got Trump derangement syndrome. That's what I know. She ain't voting for nothing. If it looks like it's going to help somebody that helped Trump or whatever. And the Lumbee went real hard for Trump. They didn't in the first in 2016, kind of in 2020, but they went hard in 2024. But he always said he was going to do everything he could to get them recognized. And by God, he did.
And so now that they're nationally recognized, what does that mean?
Well, it opens up a world of federal money that they could not get. We did a lot to help them in the state side, but even on the state level, they were running into interference. And like I said, I don't want to get into it a lot. I want to get into the show next week because it really gets pretty good. And I got involved. I got kind of involved in it when I first found out what was going on with the Department of Administration here in the state of North Carolina and how wrong things were being done. And it was basically only being done to the Lumbee. Because North Carolina recognized them, but the federal hadn't. So now this becomes, they'll have actually what we call reservation. So it'll be land. So, and I always ride through the beach on the way and go through Chadburn. And I said, my gosh, what will Chadburn turn into now? It might be Las Vegas. I don't know. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, you do have to wonder. The Cherokee, of course, has the big Harris thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Catawba.
Building a big one down there, about $1 billion.
It's huge.
Yes.
And so you wonder if the Lumbees are going to take advantage of that situation.
Well, I feel like they will. Yeah. And they'll probably be pretty close proximity to Myrtle Beach.
Well, you got to, when you go down through that territory, is that, what's the county?
Robertson.
Robertson County.
Yeah.
And one right next to it, Lumberton.
Yeah, well,
it's pretty economically.
It's challenged.
Yeah,
it's challenged, and so this is going to be not only is it a good thing for the Lumbee, but it's a good thing for North Carolina. Now we have 3 different tribes recognized nationally or federally in North Carolina, so that's just that much more federal help that people will get along with the state help too. So this has been going on, trying to get recognized for a long time. They got more people in North Carolina with Lumbee heritage than any other tribe. Most of the Cherokee actually are in Oklahoma, where they got marched to, unfortunately. But still, this is a huge thing, and to me, it's a huge win. But nobody likes competition. And so that's where we're going. And so hopefully I'm going to get them on there, just get John or somebody to come on next Monday. And we're going to talk about all the stuff that's going on. And it's gotten pretty daggum ugly, really. It's gotten ugly. So we'll just see how it goes. Hey, all right. real quick, going to move on. Like I said, anybody want to talk about that? 704-873-9929. Give us a holler. North Carolina House Speaker Destin Hall, my boss man, came out this other week and set up a committee to look at property tax across North Carolina. And this should be very interesting to see what they come up with in this. Yeah, I thought you had somebody now. This should be very interesting to see what this, and it's just in the House right now. The Senate hasn't picked this up yet. I feel like if we come up with some recommendations, maybe it'll just be legislation. It won't be necessarily a recommendation from the House Senate committee combined. But, between revals and just the continued increase, it's hard. It's hard. I know there's a lot of people and actually me and John Galino at Purple Heart Homes. John ran against me last time in primary. Thank you, John, for not doing it again. It gives me a little bit of a break. But we've talked a lot, and we got to know each other from that. And we're talking on trying to do something like 100% disabled vets, trying to get maybe them a property tax exemption. That may be one of the things that's on the table. I'm sure it is. We've talked about disabled elderly. That they get pushed out of their house. Next thing you know, they can't pay the property tax on it, and when you do the revals, it just keeps going up and up, and they're not wanting to sell. They got nowhere to go. So I mean, what do you do? It's bad. Taxes are not cheap. They worked all their life and probably built a really nice house, and next thing you know, they can't afford it with a fixed income and trying to maybe pay medical bills and everything else. But some of this, and they're going to look at. They're going to consider, reviewing the property tax relief programs that we currently have, and they're going to consider the mechanisms to expand property tax relief to homeowners. They're going to talk about that. They're going to analyze potential impacts and options to address local government revenue reductions, including reimbursement mechanisms and additional revenue generating authorities. And so that's the thing about it. We cut property tax. It takes money from the counties and the municipalities in their budgeting. So, yes, we've got to help people that are in a bad way and they can't afford to live in the houses they are for the property tax the way it's gone up. But we also got to think about the double-edged sword of what happens with the counties. And one thing that just here in Iredell, I'm looking now in our budget we're working with here in Iredell, the 25, 26, and I'll probably get some calls from county commissioners giving me crap or whatever, but $344 million is this budget. When I left in 2019, and I ain't saying I was the world or nothing like that, but it was $205 million. So we're up about 40% in 5-6 years' time now. And some of that is COVID money came in, and they didn't miss a bad in Iredell, but a lot of money got sent from the federal government to the counties. And, what they should have done and what they did do are two different things. We always say that, we can talk about what we should do, or we can talk about what we can do. And one of them's a lot, longer talk than the other one. So a lot of counties, instead of spending that money, maybe paying off debt or doing some one-offs or something like that, no, they put it into salaries. And now some people say, oh, well, they're restricted. Well, you can move money around. You can take money from where that money from the federal government comes in and fill the budget and move the other over here, and you can give raises. And that's wonderful. We want to pay our people, even on the county, state level, whatever, municipality. But understand that is a reoccurring cost. So it does not go away. And you're not going to probably come in and say, well, we're doing a wage cut this year instead of a wage increase. You're going to have to actually get rid of positions. That's about the only way to do it. You can't take it off the board once you put it on the board. So it's hard. And so that inflated a lot of people's budgets. And now they've got to feed the beast. And then you've got inflation, which, like I always say, inflation probably hurts government worse than anything, because the stuff that's high, the aggregates that you need to do stuff, gravel, dirt, rock, concrete, asphalt, iron, steel, you name it, all your building materials, everything, block, cement, whatever, all that, it's still remaining high on the inflation side. We brought down gas, and Trump's done a great job of. He got handed a big bucket of what, and he's trying to dig out of it, and it ain't easy. But those products really still haven't come down. I mean, I use a lot of them in my business when we want to build or do, and I said, like, dang gum. I remember when it was such, and I ain't talking about a kid. I'm talking about a few years ago. And so that hurts government too. So because government, like I said, we're building schools, we're building this, we're doing that. It's a constant go. But like I said, you're looking at a pretty substantial increase, and something's got to feed that beast. But it's the property tax that usually does it in Iredell County and most counties. And so it makes it really difficult for the residents. And when you do a revalve, because building materials went up, houses went up, and it's just a domino effect. And so I'm going to be really curious to see what all recommendations this committee comes up to or comes up with. I think it's time we take a look at this. I think it's become critical. I know my taxes, it seems like on my house, have pretty much close to doubled in just the last 5-6 years. So, I'm still working. It looks like I'm going to have to keep working. So it's kind of tough. So this will be interesting to see where we go with this. But I do hope there's some relief for the people that are hurt the most. Like I said, you got people that can't go out and really work, can't have a living. You got a lot saying they can't, but then you got some that really can't. And we got to figure out who needs the most help and how will we give it and how will we do it and what's this going to mean to affect the county side and then the city side. So it's going to be tricky, but it's getting out of hand and something's got to change. So we just got to take a look at it and see. All right, I got something I got to do here at the end of the program that I really want to do. So we're going to jump in here to it. Let me get back here. So I'm going to do my crazy as it gets, and I'm going to try to get this tacked in. Give me about 5 minutes at the end of the show, 4 or 5. But crazy as it gets, part 1. So Charlotte City Council is catching a lot of flack because they're paying a public relation firm $3.4 million to convince riders that it's safe to ride the commuter trains in Charlotte. Now, I know, and that's why it's as crazy as it gets.
Right.
So I'm at a function for the Charlotte Business Regional Alliance, and they wanted the legislators to come down. And so I show up, and it's kind of funny. The Democrat legislators from Mecklenburg were there. And I was one of the few that was there from outside of Mecklenburg. And one of them asked me, he said, well, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm the cavalry. if you're going to get something done, I'm the one that's going to ride in here and save you. So I'm the one that's going to make it happen. Because right now we hold the majority. So they passed the half-cent sales tax for transit, and so I've got one of the guys on city council I know well, good guy. He's Republican, the only one, so I pretty much gave out who it was because it ain't hard to figure out. Right. And I've also got the head of the basically it's the CATS, Charlotte Area Transit Security. I don't say committee on transit, rail transit. They're with me. We're talking, and I told them, I said, all right, y'all, y'all got this, and y'all are the guinea pig. You screw this up, and nobody else is probably going to get this, and y'all may even lose it. And so we got to do things. And I said, you got to fix this. My daughter lives down there, 5 foot tall. I think today's actually short person day because this is the shortest day of the year, and it's the 21st. So she's celebrating it. She's 5 foot tall, about 115 pounds or something like that. And I said, until this little girl of mine is not afraid to get on that train, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And so what they wanted, now this is what I had one of them, and he said, well, what we need is cameras that can do facial recognition. And then these people that we've told can't ride the train no more, we'll know they're on there, and and I said, okay, that's great. But aren't you still going to need a guy or girl with a gun or something to go on there and get their butt off the train? Just catching their face doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to send them a letter in the mail. Yeah, right. And he said, well, so as soon as we get some money from that, we can get that. And we think that's going to be really good. And then the next night, they passed this $3.4 million to hire somebody to tell me that it's safe, and they ain't got any proof. And Lord, there's been all kind of incidences since this last stabbing that they're not talking about. So I don't know. The PR firm's going to actually have to buy Google to shut down what you can find out about what's going wrong. I mean, crazy stuff, all kind of stalking stuff. I mean, so it's not gotten better. It may have gotten worse. But spending $3.4 million on not on security, but spending it on a PR firm that make me believe, come on, people. Yeah. I actually texted my friend and said, why? It was a question mark.
Just makes you wonder.
Why?
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, so here we go. Crazy that Gets part 2. And this is some of that same part. So Keon Doby, who was the man stabbed on the Blue Line a couple of weeks ago, set up a GoFundMe page and has collected over $114,000 so far. He tried to do the right thing, I guess. But after he left the hospital, he was arrested for assault on his pregnant girlfriend while holding their son. And this happened 2 different times, in February and late October. He also verbally communicated death threats to her after she came to and knocked her out. Facial fracture from the punch, knocked her unconscious. He's out on a $2 million bond. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, folks, maybe we need to raise some more money for the GoFundMe so he can, he ain't out, so he can get his bond out and get back on the streets. I don't know. So the person who's been the hero, not exactly the hero we're looking for. Just saying. Not exactly the hero we're looking for. All right, so Crazy as It Gets part 3. So all this hollering about what Trump is doing with the drug boats in the Caribbean and how it's illegal. All the Dems are saying, you can't do this. That's an act of war. You can't do this. Guess what? In 1986, a young Democrat congressman then filed a bill, the Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act. That made it illegal to do, or made it legal to do exactly what Trump is doing. Intercept, destroy, whatever, to whoever's trafficking drugs into our country or to anywhere. You'll never believe. Billy Buck, guess who the sponsor of that bill was?
Gosh, I don't know. Who was it?
He now is Senator Chuck Schumer.
How about that?
What a bunch of hypocrites. All we've heard is all this trash about how bad it is. The law's actually on the books, and I ain't gonna say it, but I want to. It's Christmas. I'm trying to.
That's right. Very good. Good.
Anyway, I want to stay on the nice list. It's hard for a politician to do that, but I can darn sure tell you, Chuck Schumer ain't on the nice list. He's definitely on the naughty list because he's just been sitting there not saying a word. But it's his legislation that's allowing Trump to do what's doing, and you don't hear none of that. All you hear is all the, this is so horrible, this is bad. But yet they're the ones that actually perpetrated or actually passed good legislation. I'm going to cheer them on. They passed good legislation, and now they're talking trash about their own legislation. Go figure. So it just is. And nothing ever amazes me with those people. Nothing.
And then we're getting their oil tankers now. Are we suspecting that there's drugs on the oil tankers, or are we just stopping the oil to get to Iraq?
I think a little bit. I think more stopping the oil, because the oil, the drug money funds the cartels. But the oil funds the government. So this is putting pressure on Maduro right here. I mean, like I said, I think that tanker, I forgot, maybe $1 billion worth of oil on there. There's a lot. So you shut down their oil industry, and Venezuela doesn't have much. And their big thing's always been ethanol. They do sugarcane. So they refine oil, but they also do a lot of sugarcane, a lot of biofuels. They use that in there and pump the oil and send it out. Nobody else buy the biofuel. It's not good to send biofuel across the ocean either. It gels up and collects a lot of moisture. It draws it, so it's not worth nothing time it gets where it's going.
Leave it to an agricultural kind of guy to bring that kind of concept there.
Well, who
knew?
I always say I know a whole lot about a little. So anyway, so now that we've got all that out of the way, we realize how crazy the world is, and because we realize how crazy the world is, we definitely need a savior. Because we cannot depend on man. We have to depend on somebody else. And so going to take a little time here And this is Luke 2. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Quirinius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, into the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace and goodwill toward men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord had made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all that they had heard wondered at those things which were told to them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, as it was told unto them. I hope that you take time this Christmas to hug the people you love. Hug the people you don't love. They're your neighbor. Be kind to them. Understand the blessings that you have and how fortunate you are and how unfortunate some others aren't. And while you're at it, tell them in their time of despair that they have a Savior. They have someone who died on a cross for their sins. And because of that, if they believe, they can spend eternity in heaven with Him. Make sure you go out of your way to do just a little bit more, to make sure that people understand that we are the hands and feet. If we believe that Jesus is our Savior, that we are obligated to do His work and help those who need help. Be kind. Dear Heavenly Father, dear Lord, thank you for Savior. Thank you for this time of year we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. I pray you be with each and every one of us. I pray you watch over us, our families. Bless us, dear Lord, and let us please take the time to realize how special the birth of your Son, Jesus Christ, is to us in our lives. Be with us all. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Folks, take care and have a Merry Christmas.
Real Country is 5